First thing first, your ambience. You need your music. So whether it's Oingo Boingo, or Voltaire, or a soundtrack from something spooky, find music. You can look online and find best Halloween hits. They've got all kinds of mixes. You know, lots of stuff. Up to you. Whatever puts you in the spooky mood. All else fails, stick to the classics. Alright, that takes care of music. What about movies? Something to play in the background while you're prepping, or something just sit and watch with a big bowl of popcorn. Rob and I are going to tell you a few of our favorite Halloween films. Beetlejuice, 1988. This is a movie near and dear to my heart. I even have a tattoo of a sandworm. I've seen the movie at least 187 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it.
RE-ANIMATOR from 1985. It's rare to find a horror that has elements of slapstick in it that remains solidly a horror.
The Wolfman, 1941. I grew up on these Universal horror films, and I always thought that this one with Lon Chaney Jr. was so much more romantic than it, in retrospect, probably was.
The Rocky Horror Picture Show from 1975. A classic of the midnight movies. It's strange enough that you have to see it at least once.
Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, 1988. Listen, I realize it's the sequel. It's technically like a part 2, because it takes place immediately after the first one. Just bear with me, okay? I think it's a better film than the first one. Still love the first one, but I love me some Julia. Some skinless Julia. That sounds awful. Never mind.
The Thing from 1982. Still the pinnacle of practical special effects. The movie is great, but the special effects elevate it to a classic of cinema.
Death Becomes Her, 1992. This one I love because it's lady monsters, you know? Really fancy lady monsters.
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch from 1982. I realize that this is no one else's favorite Halloween movie, but it's so off-the-wall insane that I love it. There's a detective, and there's masks that melt children, and there's cyborg security guards. It makes no sense, it's crazy, and I love it.
Evil Dead 2, 1987. You could say this is also a sequel, but I would argue that the first half of the movie is like a remake of Evil Dead, so really it's just a 2-for-1.
The Craft from 1996. Just girls being girls, having sleepovers, levitating each other.
I mean, that was my high school experience. Dracula, 1931. Black and white and beautiful, and Dwight Fry as Renfield, and it's everything I love in an old classic horror film.
The Addams Family, 1991. So while they are creepy and they're kooky, the Addams Family shows each other a lot of love and a lot of acceptance, and they were definitely something that I aspired to be.
We're pretty close. The Faculty. The Faculty is nothing like you would expect if you were just to read a synopsis, or even see the poster. It is so much darker and so much more cool. See The Faculty.
Return of the Living Dead, 1985. So here's where a pattern emerges, because there are humorous elements in Return of the Living Dead. It doesn't take the zombies as seriously as Romero's did, but Return of the Living Dead is entertaining, and it has my favorite zombie to ever grace the screen, Tarman.
Jennifer's Body. Jennifer's Body gets a bad rap. I think that it deserves more praise as a dark comedy as well as just a horror movie. Again, I like lady monsters.
Sleepy Hollow, 1999. I'm not going to say this is a perfect movie, but being from New York, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow has a special place in my heart, and just the melodrama of this movie is captivating.
practical magic. Here's another one that comes across as a feel-good movie about sisters, and then, dead people and zombies, and chaos ensues.
Pet Sematary, 1989. Stephen King has always been one of my favorite authors, so to see a mostly faithful adaptation of one of his works that doesn't turn to shit when it's turned into a movie, it's wonderful.
Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I wanted to be Elvira when I grew up. Or marry her. I wasn't sure. Turns out I'm just bisexual. Yes?
You came close.
I did.
You're living your best Elvira life.
I am. Plenty booby.
Dark and booby.
Mm-hmm.
Cabin in the Woods, 2012. I'm kind of cheating on this one because Cabin in the Woods is every single horror trope over the last couple of decades thrown together with Scooby-Doo jokes.
Including paying homage to both Evil Dead and Hellraiser.
Yes. But there's a list of references. Other websites have done it better. But basically every scene is a reference to another big horror movie.
I love it. In this day and age, you can do a watch party, which is pretty amazing, I think. You don't even have to be in the same building to watch these movies with other people.
And that's our list. Those are the movies that you should take time to see this Halloween.